Ever been hurt by the church? I have. Here's one of my stories. Well, I guess it's been about 25-ish years ago. My family and I were serving at a church in the youth ministry. During that time, I was working toward a biblical degree because I felt like that's where the Lord was calling me. He was calling me to serve in youth ministry. It was myself and my husband and my two kids who were youth aged. If you're not familiar with youth ages, that is like usually middle school and high school aged kids in the church. So we had been asked to come in to build a youth ministry in a church whose membership was not youth aged. And that was like the whole reason that we were called there, was to build a youth ministry. Our purpose was to reach younger families and build a strong youth program, and we did it. We were blessed to meet new families. We grew a youth program, and we were actively reaching lost souls with the gospel message of Jesus. It was a really good time in our lives, a good time as Christians, a good time as youth ministers, and as a family. We built connections and really intentionally just loved people. I look back on this time in our lives mostly with joy, knowing that our sacrifice changed lives. However, if you've ever been in church work or church service, you know that churches come with baggage and history. And I've always tried to look beyond whatever happened in the past and work toward, like, working in the present for a different future, a brighter future, no matter what the church's history was. Well, during this time, there had been an established family that was really used to doing things their way. And what we and the church knew is that that way wasn't working in this church's community. And over time, needless to say, there became an issue. It was an issue that grew dissension within some of the church, and that dissension began to grow. And there's a really long story that belongs here, but long story short, some of the people of the church began speaking negatively about me to the deacons. And the deacons began to question. But they didn't question my family. It was directed at me. Somehow, I became the target. And I don't know what it is, but I seem to be the one who gets to be the target. What I remember vividly was being asked eventually to attend a meeting of the deacons and the pastor. And so I asked that my husband join it with me, and we went. And as I sat around this man-filled table, the lead deacon looked at me and he asked, "Why don't people like you?" And honestly, I don't remember much of that meeting, but what I do remember was that this was the leading question to the end of our ministry at this church. Why don't people like you? Not asking me about a lesson I had taught or an activity that had been planned or an outreach that we had done. No discussing or acknowledgement of accomplishments. No talking about saved souls and a grown youth ministry and welcomed families at this church. Why didn't people like me? Like, who even are these people that you're speaking for? I was asked to step back and asked to stop being a part of the ministry. And I honestly don't remember how much longer we served there, but after that meeting, I went into a real time of sadness. Sadness for myself and for my family, sadness for the youth and their families, and certainly for the lost of our community. And I was hurt. I was so hurt that I was asked to stop serving because people didn't like me. And I did my best to mourn and try to understand. I tried to work out my faith through sadness. And the next thing that I remember from this time was that I was confronted by this same deacon who told me that the people in the church were uncomfortable seeing me weep during service or during a song which had stirred my soul toward healing and toward remaining faithful through the hard times. The church didn't make it easy for me to heal. The church inflicted pain and correction, but didn't want to offer me a path toward growing as a Christian. The church forgot that I too am an ever-evolving Christian with the capacity to grow. Their answer to whoever these people were was to give in to them. And all these years later, the fruit that was born there became a dying church. I have a history of church hurt that through the years I've cried over and certainly gone to God over. Keep watching for more. And if you have church hurt, let me know in the comments by simply posting, "Me too," or "This speaks to me." I'll be seeing you. P.S. I'm Sarah.